Happy Monday. Welcome to class, or happy whatever day it is in the future. And so we are going to go ahead and get started with our 45-minute practice. My name is Caitlin, if you haven't practiced with me before, and welcome. We're going to go ahead and sit in a comfortable seat of your choice, cross-legged, or if you prefer to come down onto the back, that's fine too. We'll keep knees up to the sky. And we start to tap into our breath. Inhaling in through the nose, down into the belly. Exhaling out through the nose or mouth. Starting to notice how you feel today. Making note of any areas that maybe are a little tight or tense or sore. Also areas that feel really good today. Start to become aware of the body through a body scan, starting at either the head or the feet, or maybe you need to start right in the middle because somewhere is screaming at you for its attention, for your attention. We start to make our exhales longer than our inhales. Whenever we feel like the mind is wandering or we're having intrusive thoughts, we acknowledge that they're there, that they are real, and we let them pass just as easily as they came, detaching from latching on or having a need for them to make a home. If there's any repetitive thoughts, anything that continues to come back, maybe something that you've brought to the mat with you that's just carrying a little extra weight, we take this next minute to turn that into an intention for your practice. We're here for 3 more breath cycles. You got this. Making your exhales longer than your inhales, really dropping in. Excellent. After your last exhale, we gently open the eyes and start to warm up the body by inhaling, both arms coming up overhead. We look up as the palms kiss together. Exhale, palms flip to face out in front of us. We bend at the elbows, drawing the elbows in line with the shoulders. Arms are at a 90-degree angle, cactus arms. Palms are nice and wide, but maybe if you need a little bit more, you can draw the fingertips behind you in space. Inhale, arms reach up overhead, biceps by the ears, gaze looks up as we watch the palms kiss together. And then palms flip, drawing the elbows in line with the shoulders. When you're here, let's draw the shoulder blades together and then let them melt down the back body. So we feel this pulling down of the shoulders and opening in the chest, and then maybe send the fingertips behind you. The next inhale sends the arms up, palms nice and wide. Gaze comes up as we watch them kiss. Exhale, arms drop, elbows in line with the shoulders. Gaze is straight out in front of us. Maybe we take the arms behind us. Take one more inhale, and on the exhale, we start to straighten the forearms at the elbows, and then flipping the palms down to the ground. We let them float right next to the hips. Left arm stays down on the mat. As we inhale, right arm lifts up. So we pause to check out the body, listen for a moment. And then exhale, we take the right arm, right fingers over towards the left side of the mat. Bicep is right by the ear, the right ear. And we wrap the shoulder blade around the back body, bringing it closer to the spine so we're opening up in the armpit and the chest. Exhale draws you back through center. As right arm drops, we lift left arm up to the ceiling. Pausing to listen. Exhale, left arm moves over towards the right. Wrap the shoulder blade, chest is open. Exhale, belly button to spine, draws you through center as we take it just one more time on each side. Pausing to listen. Exhale through center, over to the other side. Exhale through center, both arms shoot out in front of you, wrists in line with the shoulders, wrists in line with the elbows, elbows in line with the shoulders. Palms are nice and wide, facing away from you. We inhale here, letting the shoulders drop down away from the ears. We sit up nice and tall. We root down through the tail, through the sits bones. Abdomen's engaged as we lift up taller through the spine. Big inhale, and then exhale, we start to bring the belly forward over the thighs, over the little space in between the legs and the pelvis. As we start to drape the hands down to the ground, tail stays rooted. As palms come down to the earth, we start to melt the forehead and the gaze towards the ground. So maybe you stay here with the forearms elevated. Maybe you walk the arms out slightly in space and let the forearms drop to the mat or the ground in front of you.
Your next exhale floats the arms over towards the left. Hips stay nice and heavy. You reach the right arm out long, maybe bringing the right hand even on top of the left. Exhale floats you through centers. We take it over to the right. Exhale floats you back to center as we pause for one breath cycle. Forehead reaches down to the earth. Exhale, we start to use the heel of the palm, engaging the abdomen to bring ourselves back up to a seated position. We inhale, both arms come up overhead. Exhale, arms float down next to us in space. Left foot is going to stay towards the midline. We're going to unravel the right and basically just swivel the foot towards the back edge of the mat. So right leg stays bent. Heel is facing the back edge of the mat. So almost like this zigzag Z pose. We sit up nice and tall, finding our foundation here. So we've got an external rotation in the left hip, internal rotation in the right. We're pressing down through the right arch and the right inner knee so that we're able to release in the thigh and the glute. We inhale, both arms come up overhead. Exhale, right arm floats down to the left knee. Left hand reaches behind us in space. Maybe you're up on the fingertips of the left hand. Maybe you're on the fist. Maybe you're all the way down on the palm. Either way, we shift the elbow crease of the left hand away from our body, rotating the shoulder externally, opening the pectoral muscle, the chest, the heart space. And we turn to gaze past the left shoulder. Maybe we drop the left ear towards the left shoulder, exaggerating this stretch, the front of the neck, the front of the shoulder on the right side. Take one more inhale here. And on the exhale, we lift the head, gaze comes right towards the left. So we're no longer looking over our left shoulder, but instead to that back edge of the mat. We bring both hands down to the mat on the outside of the left thigh. We start to drape the belly button, chest, forearms down to the mat. Stay up on the forearms if that feels good for you. Or we can walk the arms out, starting to drop the forehead all the way down to the mat. Or maybe you stack palm over palm, fist over fist. Be here for one more breath. Exhale, we start to use the heels to come out
the way that we came before unraveling to center. Right leg comes out long and then wraps around the outside of the left thigh. Left heel is right by the right glute. Right toes are on the outside of the left thigh, toes pointing forward. We hook the left elbow around the right knee, or we bring the outside of the left elbow to the outside of the right knee, creating a deep twist. Otherwise, we draw the belly button towards the top of the right thigh, right knee towards the left shoulder. Sending the breath deep into the belly, we feel the skin expanding around the hip, the low back, the low abdomen, the internal organs. We're here for one more breath cycle, really squeezing that right knee towards the left shoulder. And exhale, we gently release using the hands if that feels supportive to unravel. The right leg, we bring the left leg out to meet the right before transitioning to the other side. So right heel comes into the midline. We bring the inner arch of the left foot and the inner of the left knee to the ground, external rotation in the left hip, sole of the left foot is shooting towards the back of the mat. We inhale, both arms come up overhead. And exhale, we start to find our twist, dropping the left hand to the right knee. Elbow crease is shining away from the body. Maybe we drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Exhale draws you out of your twist. Head rises back up as we drop both hands to the outside, to the ground on the outside of the right thigh. Before we start to crawl the fingers out away from us, dropping the belly, chest, forehead down to the earth, releasing any tension or gripping in the glutes and the hip. It feels good to walk the hands out slightly more, dropping the forehead to the earth or stacking palm over palm or fist over fist. One more breath cycle here. Full inhale, full exhale. And then we use our next exhale to gently start walking ourselves back up the way we came before twisting towards the front. We take the left leg around
the outside of the right thigh. Right elbow hooks at the left knee, and we find our twist. So we're active in the left or in the right toes. Toes are pointing back towards the shin, helping keep our foundation. Belly button towards the top of the left thigh, left knee towards the right shoulder. Hands can clasp together, if that feels good. You can drop one hand to the right foot, one hand on the heart maybe. Deep breaths down into the belly and full exhale. Stay for your next inhale. Exhale, we unravel. We're going to make our way into a tabletop position. So if you want to unravel the legs and swing them off to the side to get there, that's great. Or from this position, you can turn the torso towards the right, dropping both hands down to the mat and using pressure in the feet. We press into the left knee, outside of the left foot, drawing ourselves up to swivel into our tabletop position. And here we are. We're going to take just a couple gentle cat-cows. So wrists are right underneath the shoulders as we start to drop the belly, open the chest, gazes forward. Exhale, we round through. Really pressing away from the mat. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Exhale, we round through. Inhale, drop the belly. Pressing away from the yoga mat as we do, lifting out of that joint. Exhale, round through. Really squeezing tail to belly button. Engaging the abdomen. Inhale brings you back to tabletop. We bump the hips over to one side, looking past the opposite shoulder. Maybe sinking all the way down onto that hip. Exhale draws you through center as we take it to the other side. So hips bump over to the right maybe and looking out past the left shoulder. Exhale through center. Take a couple more rounds on your own. Pausing in any space that feels really good or like it needs some extra attention. And even out your rounds here before we meet back in tabletop to transition to wide-legged child's pose. So big toes come together, knees as wide as your yoga mat, and we sink the hips back. As we start to melt the belly, chest, and forehead down to the earth. Arms reach out in front of us, above the head towards the front of the neck. Spine expands out through the crown and through the tail on the inhale. The low back, shoulder girdle softening on the exhale. One more inhale, and on the exhale, we press into the tops of the feet, claw through the fingertips. We pause in our tabletop just to draw the knees underneath the hips before we descend all the way onto the belly. When you get there,
scoot and adjust if you need to. Forehead comes right down to the mat. Hands come right underneath the shoulders. Elbows are tight to the side body, so you can see we've got like little grasshopper arms. We're pressing down through the tops of the feet, which are hip width apart. Knees are engaged, so that we're engaging the thighs, the quads. And last but not least, we tuck the pelvis slightly, bringing it nice and flush with the mat. Inhale, and on the exhale, we're pressing into the fingertips, lifting the chest, belly, and then head up to cobra. We pause here for 2 breath cycles. So we've got the glutes firm because we are active in the legs, but we're not squeezing in the glutes. Exhale, we start to lower pelvis, low abdomen, belly, chest, then forehead. Inhale, here we go again. Exhale, we start to lift, chest, abdomen, chin stays tucked to the chest until we rise and gaze comes forward. Shoulder blades are squeezing together, shoulders are down away from the ears. Exhale, lower. One more time, inhale. Exhale, we start to rise. Slowly and with control. Knees are engaged, legs are firm. And feel this big stretch through the front of the body, the abdomen, the ribs, the chest. Exhale, fold slowly, low abdomen, abdomen, ribs, chest, forehead. Ooh, good job. Right arm is going to extend out in front of us, off the front of the mat. Wrist and elbow are in line with the shoulder. Palm is face down. Fingertips are spread wide. You can settle the forehead back down to the mat if you'd like. We bend the left leg at the knee, drawing the heel towards the hip. It makes it nowhere near the hip. That's okay too. You can stay here if you'd like, if you don't feel that you need any further assistance or further activity in the leg. Otherwise, we'll reach the left arm around to clasp either the toes, maybe the top of the foot, maybe the inner arch, maybe just the ankle. Maybe you have an exercise strap with you and you wrap that around the top of the foot, an extension of your arm. And then just like we did in our twist, we're going to rotate the elbow crease away from the body. So encouraging this opening in the chest, the heart space, external rotation of the shoulder. And we stay here. For 3 more breath cycles. Tucking the pelvis down towards the earth, using that as our foundation. After your last exhale, we'll gently release the foot floats down behind us. Left arm reaches out in front of the mat to replace the right as we take it to the other side. So right leg bends at the knee, heel to hip.
Stay here if that feels good. Otherwise, we reach that right arm around, maybe either clasping the toes, the top of the foot, maybe the inner arch. And then we pivot the elbow crease away from the body. We bring the pelvis back in connection with the earth, feeling that exaggerated stretch or activity in the front of the right thigh. One more breath cycle, full inhale, full exhale. And after your next exhale, we gently release. Both hands come back underneath the shoulders. We curl the toes under. Stay for the inhale. Elbows stay tight to the side body, and on your exhale, we power up to plank, or you can come up onto the knees, half plank, before sending the hips up high for downward facing dog. If you feel that you need to pedal it out, that's fine. Take a few minutes to do that. Otherwise, let's find some stillness and just send the breath to the hamstrings, the low back. Using the breath to release any gripping, holding tightness in the body. Stay for one more breath. Your exhale sends just the right leg up in between the hands. We find ourselves in lunge. Let's go ahead and drop the back leg. We flip the toes. Top of the foot comes down to the mat. We're light on the fingertips, gaze is straight forward. You want to take some gentle sways side to side, keeping that knee in line with the ankle. Firm foundation in the back foot. Let's go ahead and do that. Just gentle movements today. And let's find a moment of stillness back at center. Here for 2 breath cycles, really sending the breath down into that hip, front of the thigh. The left hand comes right next to the right arch, and we inhale, swinging the right arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, right arm replaces the left. So we open on the left side. Exhale, left hand replaces the right as we again square off. Hands frame the right foot, gazes forward again. We inhale to lift the hips up and back, beginning to straighten the front leg, toes up towards the sky. If straightening is not an option for you, keep the knee bent, but we will engage the foot by reaching the toes up towards the sky. Maybe we start to bow to our body, forehead towards the knee. You can still do this if the leg is bent, bringing the belly right next to that right thigh, fingertips are on the ground, and we bow.
forehead to shin. Pressing down firmly through that back foot, the back leg for our foundation. One more breath, exhale, we start to roll back through to our lunge. Gaze is forward, we lift the chest. One more breath cycle. Hands come to frame that right foot. We curl the toes of the back leg. We lift the back knee, lift the hips slightly as we draw the right foot back to meet the left as we meet again in downward facing dog. We're here in down dog for 3 breath cycles. Make them count, really drop in. Stay for your next inhale. Exhale, we step just the left foot up in between the hands. We find ourselves first in lunge and then we drop the back leg, flipping the toe. Torso is right by that left thigh or in that direction. Chest is open, so shoulder blades are drawn together. Shoulders are down away from the ear, gaze is forward. Left knee is over left ankle. We're pressing down firmly through the sole of the left foot and the top of the right foot for our foundation. Sending the breath into the hips, the low back, front of the thighs. Your next exhale, we drop the right hand next to the left arch and swing the left arm up to the ceiling. Chest is open, we press away from the mat with the right hand. Exhale, left hand replaces the right. We open right arm up to the ceiling. Sending the breath deep into the belly. Exhale, right replaces the left as both hands come to frame the left foot. We inhale and exhale, we start to lift the hips up and over, beginning to straighten the left leg, toes up towards the ceiling. Maybe we bow towards the body, dropping the forehead towards the shin. Maybe you keep the knee nice and bent as we drop the belly by the left thigh, dropping the shin, or the forehead to the shin. And exhale, we slowly roll our way back to our low lunge. Chest comes forward as we pause for 2 breath cycles. Hands come to frame the left foot. We curl the toes of the back foot under, lift the back knee, lift the hips slightly to draw the left foot back to meet the right. Here for one more breath. And on the exhale, we use the hands to walk the body towards the back edge of the mat. So hands are walking back to meet the feet, then we find ourselves in a forward fold. We drop the crown just for 1 breath cycle. We heel toe, the feet wider than the hips, maybe as wide as the yoga mat, spilling the toes off the mat, pointing away from you, heels are pointing towards the midline.
We use the fingertips to guide us as we start to bend the knees, tracing the knees along the line of the big toe, dropping the hips right in between the heels for a yogi squat. If that is not available for you today, you can bring your weight onto the hands, keeping the feet up on the toes, taking your squat this way, or maybe gentle sways side to side. And always too, bring a rolled blanket underneath the heels to help elevate the backs of the legs, creating more space. Otherwise, we draw elbows to inner thighs squeeze into the elbows. We send the tail down towards the ground. Heart shoots towards the thumbs. One more breath cycle here. After your next inhale or exhale, we drop the hands to the ground as we start to shift the weight forward, dropping the knees right to the mat. We swing the legs off to the side, coming onto the bum. And we start to descend all the way onto our backs. When we get there, let's draw the knees up towards the chest, interlacing the fingers around the shins, gently squeezing, tugging the knees towards the chest. Maybe rocking gently side to side. And then finding a moment of stillness. In your next exhale, we release the fingers, bringing the hands and arms into a wide T, wrists in line with the elbows, elbows in line with the shoulders. We bring the shins parallel to the mat, so we've got this 90-degree angle at the shins. Knees and arches are kissed together. Tailbone is scooped up to the sky, low back becomes flush with the mat. Inhale, and on the exhale, slowly and with control, we start to drape both knees over towards the left side of the mat. Both shoulders stay pinned down to the earth. Maybe both knees fall all the way to the ground for a deep twist. Maybe they don't, and that's okay too. Maybe you want to incorporate some sort of prop, maybe a block, a bolster, a pillow to help support and bring the earth up to you. We're here for one more breath. Exhale, belly button to spine. We draw both knees through center and take it over to the other side. Your next exhale, we draw the knees through the midline, soles kiss down to the mat, and we send both legs out towards the front of the mat. Hands can drop by your sides, palms face up or face down, whatever feels right for you today. Or maybe what feels right is one hand on the heart space, one hand on the belly. Take one last collective breath together. Deep inhale in through the nose. A long exhale out through the nose or mouth. If you can stay in Shavasana to relax for a few minutes, I would encourage you to do so. Otherwise, maybe carve out some time later to have a quiet sit in Shavasana.
Thank you for practicing with me today. Thank you for showing up for yourself. And I will see you next time.